Okay, good morning, everybody. I call the August 22nd, 2023 meeting of the DuPage County Board to order. I invite everyone to stand and join in the Pledge of Allegiance. Member Zay, will you please lead the pledge? And everyone please stay standing for the invocation.
Flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. I now invite Father John Oper from St. Daniel, the Prophet Church in Wheaton, to join us in the invocation.
Gathered now for silence at the beginning of our common prayer to remember those facing the devastation of natural disasters, from hurricane storms to deadly heat, from wildfires of devastation to the flooding challenges of response resources. Many feel displaced and alone, and we ask God to be present to them. God of mercy, God of love, we ask your wisdom during this gathering. Allow our eyes to see what you long for us to see. Allow our ears to hear what you long for us to listen to. Allow our hearts to know compassion and mercy. We place this time in your hands so that bridges may be built, safety and security may be experienced, and may the greatest good always be identified and embraced. We ask this in God's holy name. Amen.
Hey, Mr. Deputy Clerk, please call the roll.
Cahill, Chaplin,
Here.
Childress, Covert,
Here.
Desart, Eckhoff, Evans,
Here.
Galassi, Garcia,
Here.
Guston, Krajewski, LaPlante, Ozog, Rutledge, Schwarzy, Tornatori, you,
Here.
and Zay.
Okay, good morning. I have a few items to share today. You may recall that on June 26th, I opened a dialogue with residents and members of the Willowbrook Corners Coalition as we explored ways the county could help that community recover from the trauma of the shooting that occurred over Juneteenth weekend. It has been a conversation that has continued throughout the summer. Our goal was to determine what service gaps exist in the community and to develop initiatives to assist residents who need counseling and other types of help. We've made positive strides, offering direct assistance from counselors and trainers in the schools. Today in Finance Committee, you had a chance to review and discuss proposals for additional county support as we seek to partner with the YWCA and Community House. These organizations are already providing mental health and vital social services in the community. This direct outreach has already been successful. I believe with county involvement, we can build on this success, creating greater impact for the residents. We will work with the Community House and YWCA to create a refined resolution for this initiative that will appear on an upcoming county board agenda. I'm asking for your support. When we talk about ways to expand opportunity in DuPage County, we are guided by our county's strategic imperatives, including our shared commitment to diversity and inclusion. As you know, this year, we are updating this and all the strategic initiatives as part of our strategic planning process. To further this goal and help inform our soon-to-be updated plan, I attended a conference last week called Public Leaders for Inclusion in Washington, D.C. This annual meeting for government leaders provides officials with the tools to challenge racism and hate, and to help us to build inclusive practices and social resilience within our own communities. However, as is often the case, we learn more outside the classroom than we do inside. On Friday, as attendees of this conference, we were invited to attend a worship service at the mosque in DC. Shortly after the service began, we were alarmed to learn of a bomb threat made to the mosque. We were quickly evacuated and moved further and further back from the building. Along with everyone else at that mosque, I experienced firsthand what it felt like to have my life threatened because of the religious beliefs of our hosts. I can tell you this was a visceral fear And I was angered by the fact that this peaceful group of worshipers could be harmed and hated so deeply when all they did was gather to pray. As guests of the mosque, we were asked to go back to our conference hotel for our own safety. Mosque leaders and members remained on site. I'm still grappling with my own anger, guilt over leaving the scene, fear, disappointment, and despair that threats like these happen too often. I know it is my duty to bear witness to you and others, expressing how my colleagues felt that day. Being targeted simply for who they were at a place most sacred to them. Let's just say, when you are watching the police tape going up outside the place you stood just a few seconds before, diversity and inclusion initiatives take on a whole new meaning. I am deeply grateful to all who put on this conference, including America Indivisible, and the Illinois Muslim Coalition. Clearly, our work to promote greater understanding, acceptance, and full participation of all continues. As our strategic planning work moves forward, we're asking members of the community to participate in 4 strategic planning forums throughout the county on September 6th and 7th. Please join us in sharing these opportunities. Finally, 1 week from today, veterans and their families are invited to a free Veterans Resource Fair sponsored by the Veterans Assistance Commission and our County Recorder of Deeds, Kathleen Carrier. That event takes place Tuesday, August 29th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. here in the Administrative Building Auditorium. Many agencies will be on hand sharing information and assistance. Again, the event is free and open to the public. Now on to public comment. On the matter of public comment, according to our county board rules, members of the public shall be afforded time to address the board. Individual remarks shall not exceed 3 minutes in length, nor shall the total time provided for all remarks exceed 30 minutes. Our first speaker is
Steve Fixler.
And I appreciate you putting it out there and everything like that, letting everybody know. We do have the event coming on August 29th. I've got about 85 agencies. Me and Kathleen here have about 85 agencies stuffed into the auditorium and everything like that. It's very cozy, okay? Everybody will get to know each other very well. This has been advertised throughout Northern Illinois. As today, I got a Chicago police officer contacted me and wants to know if he can get a table to talk about recruiting and everything like that. I said, it's not an employment fair, but we're booked. We're full. If you want to come in, please come in and everything like that. But the fair has been advertised throughout Cook County and around the area. We're trying to get as many veterans as we can. But I've got like 85 plus about 8 or 9 on the wait list to come in. Everybody's invited to come down except for the fire marshal if he's in here, but we'll be fine and everything like that. The other thing I wanted to bring up was on September 12th, we still have our DuPage Veterans Suicide Prevention Seminar. And that's at my American Legion post in Carroll Stream. Right now, we've got about over 50 people attending it. And in the morning, we're going to talk about prevention. Health Department is going to talk about crisis intervention. What do you do if you see somebody in the middle of possibly committing suicide? And we've got Rosecrans showing up to speak, Illinois joining forces. And then in the afternoon, we've got kind of a around the room roundtable type of thing. And I asked for real world experience. And I've got either Chicago police officer or a Metro police officer. She's going to speak about how she stopped a suicide in the city. She's going to come out and talk about that. I got VA peer support specialist going to talk about real world suicide issues. And I got a U.S. Army battalion commander who had 3 suicides in his unit is going to go and talk about that too. So the morning is almost a little bit death by PowerPoint, but in the afternoon, it's going to be a round the room roundtable discussion about prevention, intervention, and we're talking about postvention, which I had never heard of earlier, but what happens afterwards. What happens when a veteran attempts suicide and he fails? Okay, depending on how he fails, some of them are in Hines Hospital for the rest of their life because they can't see anymore because they shot themselves in the head and failed. So there's a postvention in different ways, family postvention and everything. So we're trying to do the whole gamut and everything like that. Breakfast and lunch is provided that day at my post. And if you're interested, let me know, and please pass the word around. Everything. All right, thanks a lot, everything.
James Kuzkowski.
Hi, I'm James Kuszkowski, homeowner of 5800 Sherman Avenue, unincorporated Downers Grove. Here to address some issues with me wanting to build a detached garage to my residence. One of the issues was the side setback. If you look at where the septic field, septic tank and the house are located, this is the only location I can actually build a structure and not encroach on either of those other things. Another one of the issues was the height. If you look at my house, I have a 12-12 pitch on the roof. And in order to get that pitch to keep the architectural integrity of the house and the garage together, I need to raise the height of the garage pitch to 23'5" to keep the continuity from the house to the garage. There was a few other issues like where's the water going to go? I have a 4-inch PVC pipe that runs to a county storm sewer now. We plan on connecting the gutters for the garage to that, so it runs to the proper location. There was an issue with maybe it would block some light from one of the neighbor's house. The nearest house to where that garage structure would be is over 200 feet away. So that shouldn't be an issue. Basically, that's all I got. Those were the main issues, and that's my case. Thanks.
Michael Hoffman. Hello, my name is Michael Hoffman. I'm here to speak about the Faywell Dam. This is a river profile. It was actually Director of DuPage County Stormwater Management and Tony Charlton and County Board Member Jim Zay. They had held a meeting shortly after the 08 flood, and this was actually posted to the wall. But at the time, it was so small, it was only probably less than a quarter of the size. It was so lightly printed, you couldn't read it. So I had it reprinted, and it's pretty interesting what you can see here. This Faywell Dam, if you look at this cluster of lines at the top of Faywell Dam, this being Faywell Dam on this river profile. That shows where the floodplain starts. The bottom of the 4 lines there that cluster on the top is a 10-year floodplain. And so you can see Warrenville's floodplain starts 2/3 of the way up Faywell Dam. If you extend that out all the way to Warrenville Road Bridge, now they've changed the bridge then, but it's only, I believe it's only about 18 inches higher than the previous bridge. It comes up about a foot above the bottom of the bridge, which would turn that then into a secondary dam. And that's what we've seen in 08, is the water was actually flowing over the road. And they were saying, oh, 100-year flood, 100-year flood. Well, you know, why do we keep getting these 100-year floods about every 10 years? Because they're actually 10-year floods. I know Strand and Associates, Warrenville had hired them to do a study on it. And they came up with it was an 85-year storm. Well, I didn't argue that fact for one simple reason is I don't have a team of engineers behind me. I try to use with everything that I find out of the county and well, they've been done by engineers. But we still had an 85-year flood per their engineering that breached our 500-year floodplain. And there's something else, since this was, they also had closed up in that dam modification back in, 2000. I believe it started in 1997 and finished in 2000, which has never been closed out. I've never seen a signed permit by the Army Corps of Engineers, but, they closed up a 48-inch low flow culvert that had raised the normal pool. This is getting kind of complicated. If I stay away that, but, basically, we got a 10-year flood. Our Warrenville's 10-year floodplain starts 2/3 of the way up Faywell Dam. And, I hope you all can see a problem with that. You know, there's, Warrenville has some serious flood problems. I started this after the flood in '08. I spent,
Mr. Hoffman, your 3 minutes is up. If you could conclude your
okay,
comments.
I had spent, 12 weeks, 7 to 7.5 hours a day, 5 days a week. I read the entire Faywell Dam file on this, and I have many documents. And I had passed a lot of them out. I had a pamphlet on it. I'll print some more up to give them to the new county board members so you can read a lot of the things that are in there. You'll find them real interesting. I had brought to a District 5 meeting at George Prattle's office, and he had said that, or I'd pass this out, and on the bottom of it, it says, I highlighted it because it said, this is not something that we want the Naperville or its residents to see. And it was basically saying that with the dam,
Mr. Hoffman, your time has expired. If you could. wrap
it
your
actually
comments
floods
up, please.
Naperville out worse than without the dam in 2 different storm events. All right, thank you.
Karen Rugg.
Here, Mrs. Bestart. It's really very difficult for people to muster up courage to come here and face you over and over and over again. And for her to be so rude to this gentleman behind me about speaking into the mic, we can't hear you. Everybody could hear him. I could hear him and I was sitting behind him. Just rudeness. Today, I'm not going to say anything. This happened over the weekend. I'm just gonna let you watch it. And once again, I think you guys are trying to kill off all the senior citizens that live in your community. You keep on trying so hard. I'm going to the sheriff's police department when I leave here. I had to call 911 3 times.
Mrs. Rugg, your 3 minutes is up. If you could conclude your comments. Mrs. Rugg, your time is expired. Could you please conclude your comments?
The board has received public comment via our online portal. Per board policy, these comments were provided to members yesterday so they could be reviewed, and comments submitted electronically will be included in the minutes of this meeting. Onto the consent agenda. I seek a motion to approve the consent agenda items. Okay. And 23-27-93 DuPage County Board Minutes, regular meeting, Tuesday, August 8th, 2023. 23-26-56, 8/4/2023 pay list. 23-26-88, 8/8/2023 pay list. 23-27-57, 8/11/2023 pay list. 23-27-75, 8/15/2023 pay list. 23-26-89, 8/8/2023 core bill wire transfer. 23-27-26, 8/10/2023 IDOR wire transfer. 23-27-79 change orders to various contracts as specified in the attached packet. 23-26-62 county clerk's receipts and disbursement report, July 2023. 23-27-25 recorder's monthly review statement, July 2023. 23-27-95 treasurer's report of investments and demand deposits as of 7/31/2023. All in favor? Okay, and county board and member Childress.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Before I rise to put the appointments in, I want to thank you for your, and tell you how much I appreciated your words as a fellow, that you recognize the sensitivity of what is going on in the world today. I do appreciate that. Today I move to rise for CBR 0088-23, the appointment of Stephen Router as a member of the Emergency Telephone System Board for 911.
It has been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Childress,
Yes.
Covert, Sart, Eckhoff, Evans,
Aye.
Galassi, Garcia, Guston, Majewski, Plant, Ozog, Rutledge, Schwarzy, Tornatori, you,
Aye.
Zay, Cahill, and Chapman.
Member Childress.
Thank you. I also like to move on the appointment of Amy Calhoun to the Naperville Fire Protection District.
Most favorable rule.
Leave is granted. Thank you, member Childress.
Thank you.
Okay, and finance and member Liz Chaplin.
Thank you. Good morning, Madam Chair. And I'd like to echo Michael's statements. Also, this morning in finance, we had a robust conversation on the Wilbur Corners with talking about the YMCA and the community house. And I just also want to thank you for your leadership on that, because I know without that, we wouldn't have these groups coming in. So thank you very much. It's important work. And I'm glad that we're finally addressing the issues out there. So with that, I move on FIR 017723, authorization to transfer $32,607 in budget to county clerk election divisions for fiscal year 2023.
It has been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Chaplin,
Aye.
Childress. Yes. Covert, Desart, Eckhoff, Evans, Galassi, Garcia, Guston, Krajewski, Plant, Ozog, Rutledge, Schwarzy, Tornatori,
Aye.
You,
Aye.
Zay. Okay,
Member Chaplin.
Thank you. I move approval of FIR 017823 acceptance and appropriation of the HUD 2022 Continuum of Care Planning Grant in the amount of $170,370.
Leave is granted. Member Chaplin.
Thank you. I'm approval of FIR 018023 resolution to allow for townships to opt out of the Northern Illinois Food Bank Fresh Produce Program.
Leave is granted. Member Chaplin.
Thank you. I move approval of FIR 018123 acceptance and appropriation of the Illinois Court Commission on Access to Justice Grant in the amount of 13,000.
Leave is granted. Member Chaplin.
Thank you. I move approval of FIR 018223 approval of the local food pantry infrastructure investment program in the amount of 1 million.
Leave is granted. Member Chaplin.
Thank you. I move approval of FIR 018323 acceptance and appropriation of the HUD 2022 Continuum of Care Homeless Management Information Systems Grant in the amount of $188,556.
Leave is granted. Member Chaplin.
Thank you. I move approval of FIR 018423 acceptance and appropriation of the CAA Employment Barrier Reduction Pilot Program in the amount of $46,500.
Leave is granted. Member Chaplin.
Thank you. I move approval of FIR 018523 approval of a grant agreement between the County of DuPage and PADS for the use of ARPA funds for an education specialist in the amount of $194,183.20.
Leave is granted. Member Chaplin.
Thank you. I move approval of FIR 018623 approval of an intergovernmental agreement between the County of DuPage and DuPage Housing Authority for the use of ARPA funds for a digital lobby board and an interactive Zoom conference room in the amount of $33,887.
Okay, we're gonna need a roll call.
Oh,
on
yes.
this.
Chaplin,
Aye.
Childress,
Yes.
Covert, Desart. Eckhoff, Evans,
Aye.
Galasi. Garcia. Guston, Krajewski. LaPlante, Ozog, Rutledge. Schwarzy. Tornatori.
Aye.
You,
Aye.
Zay. And Kale.
Okay, Member Chaplin.
Thank you. I move approval of FIR 018723, approval of a grant between the County of DuPage and the American Legion Post 76 for the use of ARPA funds for Great Regional Great Lakes Regional Baseball Tournament in the amount of 40,000.
Leave is granted. Member Chaplin.
Thank you. I move approval of FIR 018823, approval of a grant agreement between the County of DuPage and the Exchange Club of Naperville for the use of ARPA funds for Rip Fest in the amount of 25,000.
Leave is granted.
I'd
Member
like to place
Chaplin.
a motion on replacement. I'm not sure if I'm doing this right, but I'd like to replace that 25,000 and move it to 50,000.
Okay, do I have a motion to amend?
Childress, are you making a motion to amend?
Yes.
Change it? Oh,
All in favor? Motion passes.
No.
Okay, roll call, please. Oh, we can have discussion. Member Eckhoff.
We voted on this a week or so ago, and I think vast majority of people thought that 25,000 was a good amount of money to give. I really wasn't in favor of giving any money, but this is for advertising for the Naperville Rib Fest. That probably gets more advertising than any fest that I know of, especially from the Daily Herald, which should really be called the Naperville Herald. And I just don't think it's warranted to give an additional amount of money.
Member Ozog.
Thank you. I am in favor of this substitution or the $50,000, especially after hearing the presentations today from Community House and the YMCA. It sounds like the receipt of money from this event has definitely gone down during the COVID period. So they're doing good work, and I think we should support them and indirectly support them through this. And also it encourages people to come to use our fairgrounds, and it's also an economic driver. People are coming in, spending money, et cetera. But I'm in favor of this substitution of 50,000 instead of 25. Thank you.
Okay, Member Childress.
Again, the purpose of, or my reasoning for it is that we could always use more eyes on DuPage. DuPage has always been kind of the beacon that people look to, and as many eyes as we can get on our community, especially our fairgrounds, I think is a plus. Plus, again, we talked this morning about the money that where it's going to go to the Willowbrook area. I'm really in favor of this. Thank you.
Okay, Member Evans.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted, I believe there was some hesitation on staff about whether or not this was eligible for this funding. So I just want to make sure that we are following rules. And also, as a matter of timing, RibFest is coming up very soon, I think. And so are we going to be able to get the money to them in time to promote the event? I think it's in 3 weeks. Is that right? So this might be something that we want to do next year. I'd like to increase it.
So I guess as far as the questions let's take them one at a time. The question was, where is this money going? Is it eligible? As far as eligibility, it does meet eligibility. I mean, the 25,000 is eligible. It's just a choice of the board at what level you would like to fund them. I know they originally requested 100. At the last meeting, it was reduced to 25. So the eligibility they are using, it's my understanding, and I know Mary Catherine is not here. I don't know if she's online, but this is going to be used primarily for marketing. Is that correct? And so marketing was the primary purpose of the 25,000.
And one of the things that Mary Catherine brought up was the tourism aspect of RibFest and the percentage of people who attend this that are out of the region. Based upon our statistic gathering, that is on the low side. But as Nick said, it still qualifies. Our point was that for the amount of tourism that this brings in out of the region, that $25,000 that was recommended seemed to be sufficient. However, if the board wants to change that, it certainly is eligible.
Okay, Member Desart.
Thank you. I think that $25,000 is very, very reasonable. Let me ask you folks, if we voted yes on this today, whether it be 25,000 or 50,000, how soon would they get the check? Because my concern is that RibFest is coming up September 15th, 16th, and 17th, and that's just 4 weeks away. So there's not a lot of marketing you can do in 4 weeks. And I think $25,000 would be sufficient. So if we voted on this today, when would the RibFest folks get their check?
It typically takes between a week and a half, 2 weeks to.
Okay, so
cut
that's,
checks.
then they'll have 2 weeks to market.
Yeah.
By the time.
It takes
So
2 weeks to cut a check.
I agree with Member Evans that perhaps this is something we look at giving them more next year, but for this year, I'm fine with the $25,000 for 2 weeks of marketing. Thank you.
Member Tonatore.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We were told in no uncertain terms 2 weeks ago that RibFest was going to go on. They were going to market it, whether we gave them $25,000 or $100,000. And we discussed it 2 weeks ago. We discussed it this morning. $25,000 was the number. I'm not sure I heard any guarantee from the people at RibFest or anybody else that whatever money they were going to get was going to go to Willowbrook. I mean, that might have been the case in the past. So I don't know that increasing the amount this morning, based on what we heard regarding Willowbrook Corners, is the appropriate reason. I am concerned about the concept of funding private enterprises who have festivals, because quite frankly, every town in this county has a taste of something or other, or some kind of fest, and they give money. I know, from personal experience, I know that chambers of commerce give money to charities as well. So I don't know what kind of a precedent we're setting. And I think we're forgetting about the soft dollars that we're giving to RibFest by having it at the fairgrounds. we've got the sheriff, we've got our public works people, we're all going to be participating, and I don't think we're gonna give them a bill. So the reality is that they're getting far more than the $25,000 in cash than we're talking about here. And we discussed this, and I do think the $25,000 is an adequate sum. We've been told that it's gonna get marketed either way. So for a variety of reasons, I'm against the motion to amend, and I'd like to stick at 25,000. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Member Rutledge.
Thank you, Chair Conroy. Jeff, you said that the attendance from outside of the area was a low number. Can you put a number to that for us?
I seem to recall anywhere from 2.5% to 3.5% were attendees out of the regional area.
Okay, member Krajewski and then member Colbert.
Thank you. When they sent us the information, they projected a surplus. They're gonna make money this year, and in the past, when they make money, they give it out to the community. So we give them another 25,000, that's fine. We'll have 25,000 more of what they projected, and they'll put 25,000 more into the community in some aspect of who they support. And I had mentioned on Friday when Lucy and I were on the phone with YWCA, they in the past were getting a couple $100,000 from RibFest, and they lost that funding from RibFest, and the requirement was that they had to put 40% in Naperville because it was held in Naperville. So I mean, if we want to look, I'm all for if we want to increase funding, but I think we want to look maybe at a public-private partnership where we help them grow it. But they also, when they're looking at who they support things that are aligned with what we want to do. We want to, whether it's what we talked about today or mental health or whatever the thing is we can help together grow, and as long as they're donating into the priorities that we have also, and what those are. Greg's committee look at that, but I'm happy to grow it as long as they're, because they're going to take the money and give it away, right? And they already projected a profit, so if they're going to make 150,000, they'll make 175,000 if they give it more, and they'll put that in.
Okay, member Colbert.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I agree with member Krajewski. I just had a quick question. So if we do have the increase today of $50,000 and they, let's say they spend $25,000, do they have to use all of the funds by September, by the date of the event, or could they hold on to that till the end of the year?
So the agreement, and I don't have it in front of me, but it's my understanding it'll be reimbursement based anyway. So that money will be fully paid out. Well, it doesn't have to be, it might be November, December, we pay it out, but we'll coordinate with them and reimburse their expenses.
Okay, thank you.
Member Guston.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, it's all reimbursable. If they don't spend the money, they're not going to get the money from the county. So there's the checks and balances there. The benefit is they're having the event here, and they do marketing after the event. And after the event, they're thanking people who participated in it and who supported the event and that type of thing. So it doesn't just stop the day before, the event or the days of the event. We did hear this morning in finance how they have in the past truly contributed, which isn't a factor in this amount of money that we're giving them for marketing, but the better the event is, the more contributions they get, and the more contributions they can give to the Willowbrook situation and the YMCA, which is YWCA, to be able to help in different communities. As far as the 40% only going to Naperville YMCA, the Naperville YMCA is gone. There's not one on Washington Avenue anymore. It is a grassy knoll right now, and it will be real developed. There is a YMCA on the south side of Naperville. So the conversation, if there is a 40% that has to go to the city of to Naperville, I'm sure they would be open to a conversation. Obviously now, as a moving factor in all of DuPage County, potentially to have a modification to that. So that's something to move forward with in the future and have those conversations. But that was the reason why I supported member Childress's motion for the 50,000. The more they have to market and get the word out about DuPage County and the event, the more people are going to come and contribute, and the more that they can obviously give out to needs within our community. Thank you.
Member you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We had a very robust discussion at the last Finance Committee with regard to this item regarding RibVest. And at that time, I also mentioned that, you know, RibVest, they have sponsorships and it goes up to $25,000. And so for us to go beyond their highest sponsorship seems unreasonable to me, especially when they have private donors and sponsors, PepsiCo being one of them, and other companies. So I agree that I think it sets not a great precedent by giving even more money for this endeavor. And lastly, considering we are going to be funding, hopefully, Willowbrook Corners through the YWCA, through the community house, we're looking at donating over $150,000 for the first year for YWCA and $95,000 for community house. And that's money that goes directly to those two agencies, which I think is the best use of our funds. So I am still in support of just the 25,000. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? Oh, Member Glossy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just go back to the conversation we had at the last meeting, and my biggest concern is, while I always fully support marketing dollars for tourism, the data that was presented by the staff didn't, you know, I think it was like 2 to 3% you said that was you know, bringing it, people that attended were from out of the region.
Yeah, if you remember, there was a map and it showed the vast majority were within driving distance. And I seem to think it was 3.8%, but coming from outside the travel distance, so their overnight stays. And then I know that there was discussion comparing that return to the American Legion, because everybody coming into the American Legion was out of state. I know that was that discussion, and that comparison was made as well.
Okay. And additionally, as much as I would love to support anything that is going to bring additional dollars to the YWCA to help the Willowbrook Corners area, I agree with Member Krajewski that you know, hasn't been communicated to us that you know, we know for certain that that's where these additional monies would be allocated.
There is nothing in agreement for us stipulating where it goes or what's happening. I would remind the county board that you don't necessarily have to funnel it through RibFest to do that. If there wants to be a donation, you guys could do a direct allocation to any of these nonprofits yourself as part of the program.
So I guess in conclusion, I said I support marketing dollars, and I think this is a tremendous event. I just think there needs to be further discussion, and I like the idea of a private-public partnership potentially going forward, where we, you know, have a better understanding of the fund allocation.
Okay. Everybody, okay. I think this has been well discussed. Member Evans.
Sorry, are we voting on the amended 150?
We'll be voting on the amendment, yes.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, clerk, please take the roll.
Childress,
Yes.
Covert,
Aye.
Desart, Eckhoff, Evans,
No.
Galassi,
No.
Garcia, Guston, Krajewski, Plant, Ozog, Rutledge, Shorzy, Tornatori, you,
No.
Zay, Cahill, Chaplin,
No.
and Krajewski. Five voting aye, 11 voting nay.
Okay, the motion fails. Member Chaplin.
I move on FIR 018923, acceptance and appropriation of Illinois Department of Human Services. No, we already had that. We had a motion. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Don't we have a motion in a second on it, though? We have a motion in a second.
Yes,
just
so,
vote.
okay, clerk, please take the roll.
Chaplin,
Aye.
Childress,
Yes.
Covert,
Aye.
Desart, Eckhoff, Evans,
Aye.
Galassi, Garcia, Guston, Krajewski, LaPlante, Ozog, Rutledge, Shorzy, Tornatori, you,
Aye.
Zay, and Gay.
Member Chaplin.
Thank you. I move approval of FIR 018923, acceptance and appropriation of the Illinois Department of Human Services Supportive Housing Program Grant.
Second most
The amount
favorable
of
roll.
$343, $206, or, yeah,
Leave is granted, Member Chaplin.
Thank you. I move on FIR 019023, resolution certifying names to take the examination for the county county engineer.
Leave is granted, Member Chaplin.
Thank you. I move approval of FIR 019123, budget transfers 822-2023, various companies and accounting units.
Leave is granted, Member Chaplin.
Thank you. I move approval of FIR 019323, a correction of Scrivener's error in resolution FIR 013423 for small agency grant program.
Leave is granted, Member Chaplin.
Thank you. I move approval of FIR 019423, additional appropriation for the tax sale automation fund in the amount of $10,489.
Leave is granted, Member Chaplin.
Thank you. I move approval of FIP 001323, recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order issued to Midway Industrial for the purchase of an electric forklift for the county clerk in the amount of $32,606.30.
Leave is granted. Thank you, Member Chaplin.
Thank you,
Okay,
Chair.
and Animal Services and Member Krajewski.
Madam Chair, I move on ASP 0049-23, recommendation for the approval contract for Cortras North America for our purchase of veterinarian pharmaceutical medical supplies, $76,000 not to exceed.
It has been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Krajewski,
Aye.
Plant, Ozog, Rutledge, Schwarzy, Tornatori, you, Zay, Cahill, Chaplin,
Aye.
Childress, Covert,
Aye.
Desart, Eckhoff, Evans,
Aye.
Galassi, Garcia, and Dustin.
Thank you, Member Krajewski, and Development and Member Tornatori.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move approval of DCO 36-23,
Second.
zoning 2333. This is to approve a conditional use to allow an existing rooster to be considered as a pet. This was denied at the zoning hearing officer by the zoning hearing officer and the development committee.
Member Eckhoff, did you have something to say?
Being a pet lover, how long does a rooster live?
I have no idea.
Well, I just thought it might be just another year on that. One time I tried to get some bird grandfathered in, it took 80, but it was gonna live 80 years, so we said no. All right, never mind.
I'm so sorry that happened to you, Member Eckhoff. Member Rutledge.
So was the bird.
Thank you, Chair Conroy. Since I was the person that brought forth the ordinance to allow hen keeping in our county, I just wanted to point out, and I did this at development, that in Cook County, there is no limit on the number of hens allowed, and they do allow roosters. So I gave a vote to the rooster, and I think that no neighbors complained. He's part of the family, so and that's what I'll say here as well. Thank you.
Wonderful. If only they could vote. Member Covert.
Thank you. I also supported Member Rutledge on the hens. So I thought roosters were allowed. Am I wrong? I thought roosters
You're
would
wrong.
be
You're
allowed.
wrong. They're not allowed.
It was just hens, right, that we
Correct.
approved. So roosters are definitely discriminatory against roosters. Okay, thank you.
You're an
Member
anti-rooster county.
Guston.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Actually, there seems to be a movement for businesses opening up in residential areas whereby they're using chickens as therapy, kind of like goat yoga. Now they're looking into having zoning, conditional uses in residential R1 areas to be able to have chicken therapy classes. So heads up.
Interesting. I never understood goat yoga. Somebody needs to explain that to me. Member Desart.
Thank you. I was just raising my hand to say that roosters live 5 to 8 years. But based on Member Guston's comments, I will say that I've known Rick and Wendy Montalbano who have that chicken therapy farm for 2 decades. And they're not a business, they're a nonprofit called Touch My Heart. And Rick and Wendy have been working with the autism community for decades. All across DuPage County. And during the pandemic, Wendy started reading about chicken therapy in other countries, and it was highly successful with those who are maybe challenged with, what's the word, sensory challenged. And so she got it into her head to have the first chicken therapy farm in the whole country, right there in Naperville. And they're looking to move their farm now. But yeah, I know Rick and Wendy very, very well. And I've actually been out there when autism guests have been out there loving and touching and being around these chickens. And you guys laugh, but actually these special needs adults are so in love with these chickens that they send these chickens birthday cards, and they have pictures of these chickens on their bedroom walls, and they just love these chickens. So you might laugh, but chicken therapy is very, very exciting in the autism world. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, roll call, please.
Tornatori. Tornatori.
No.
You,
Really? No.
Zay. Cahill, Chaplin. Childress. Covert,
No.
Desart. Eckhoff. Evans,
No.
Galassi. Garcia. Guston. Krajewski. Plant, Ozog. Rutledge. And Schwarzen.
Okay, for the record, I love chickens. Member Tonatori.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move approval of BCO 3723 zoning 23-5 Eckler to allow a conditional use for an existing camper RV to remain parked within 30-foot corner side yard setback. This was denied by the zoning hearing officer as well as the development committee.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Roll call, please. Oh, question. I'm sorry. Member Covert.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I don't sit on development, but I am curious as to the reasons of this, of the denial and the no votes.
Well, here, my recollection was that there was no hardship presented to the zoning hearing officer, none presented to us at the development committee for this RV to remain within or beyond the setback.
Were there any financial hardships, or what were the objections by the community, or were there any?
I don't believe there were any objections or support by the community.
Member
I mean,
Eckhoff.
I can just add that, I mean, in Whedon and other communities, you don't park these large that RVs out in front of a house. It's not supposed to be something that's beneficial for the property values. So you have to go park them somewhere else. So, I mean, I think it's pretty typical in most communities in DuPage County.
I mean, my understanding is it's on the rear driveway, so it's behind the house, or is,
It's the side, corner side yard setback.
okay. Thank you.
Okay, roll call, please.
Tornatori.
No.
You,
No.
Zay. Cahill, Chaplin,
No.
Childress. Covert,
No.
Desart. Eckhoff. Evans. Galassi. Garcia. Guston. Krajewski. Plant, Ozog. Rutledge. And Schwarzen.
Okay, Member Tonatori.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Move approval of DCO 38-23, and I'd like to bifurcate this if I could, as did the committee. Zoning 2339 to approve a variation to reduce the corner side setback for a detached garage. This was an approval by the zoning hearing officer and a development.
Second.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Tornatori.
Aye.
You, Zay. Cahill, Chaplin. Childress. Covert. Desart.
Aye.
Eckhoff. Evans. Galassi. Garcia. Guston. Krajewski. Plant. Ozog. Rutledge. Shorzy. And Zay.
Okay, Member Tonatori.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move approval of a variation to increase the height of a detached garage from 15 feet to approximately 23.5 feet. Zoning hearing officer denied this. The development committee approved it. If we decide to approve it, it will require 14 votes.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Tornatori.
Aye.
You,
Aye.
Zay. Cahill, Chaplin. Childress. Covert. Desart. Eckhoff. Evans.
Aye.
Galasi. Garcia. Justin. Krajewski. LaPlante, Ozog, Rutledge, and Schwartz. 15 voting aye, 1 voting.
Okay, 15 voting aye, motion passes. Member,
Thank you, Madam
Secretary.
Chair. And finally, I move approval of DC 39-23. Conditional use to allow an electronic message center sign and a variation increase height
Second,
of an existing sign as well. Again, approved by both the zoning Board of Appeals and the development.
okay, it has been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Tornatori.
Aye.
You.
Aye.
Zay. Cahill, Chaplin.
aye.
Childress. Yes. Covert. Desart. Eckhoff. Evans.
Aye.
Galasi. Garcia. Justin. Krajewski. Plant. Ozog. Rutledge. And Schwartz.
Okay, thank you, Member Tonatori.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Economic Development, Member Galasi, do you have any? Okay, and then Environmental and Member Rutledge.
Thank you, Chair. So this morning, I want to point out the consequences of climate change that's happening in Maui, hurricanes in Southern California. That's just this week. And so one of the things I also want to bring to your attention is in Montana, youth have sued the state to not have any more approval for drilling, which sure there would be some that may disagree, but oil production is definitely an issue with climate change. So I'm just commending Montana for taking those steps to do the big things that we really need to do. It's time to stop doing just the little things. So thank you, Montana.
Okay, thank you, Member Rutledge, and Human Services and Member Schwartzy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move on item HSP 6623.
Second,
A recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to Jorns Healthcare LLC for rental of fluid immersion simulation mattress systems for beds for the DuPage Care Center for the period September 8, 23 through September 7, 24 for a contract total amount not to exceed $36,600.
It has been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Schwartz.
Aye.
Tornatori. You.
aye.
Zay. Cahill, Chaplin.
Aye.
Childress.
Yes.
Covert. Desart.
Aye.
Eckhoff. Evans.
Aye.
Galasi. Garcia. Justin. Krajewski. Plant. Ozog. And Rutledge.
Member Schwartzy.
Thank you. I move on item HSP 6723, a recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order
Second,
to
motion
Cardinal
roll.
Health, Inc. for primary pharmaceuticals for in and outpatient pharmacy services for the DuPage Care Center for the period September 1st, 23 through August 31st, 25 for a contract total not to exceed $4,800,000 contract pursuant to the state of Illinois.
Okay, we need a roll call, please. Nice timing.
Aye.
Tornatori. Aye. You.
Aye.
Zay. Aye. Cahill, Chaplin.
Aye.
Childress.
Yes.
Covert. Desart.
Aye.
Eckhoff. Evans.
Aye.
Galasi. Garcia. Justin. Krajewski. Plant. Ozog. And Rutledge.
Member Schwartzy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move on item 232733 HHSP 0289A22 amendment to
favorable, roll.
resolution HHSP 028922 issued to Cisco Chicago Inc. for primary food, supplies and chemicals for the DuPage Care Center and campus cafes at the JTK Administration Building and the Judicial Office facilities for a change order to increase the contract in the amount of $270,210, resulting in a new contract amount not to exceed $1,139,378, an increase of 31.09%.
Leave is granted. Member Schwartzy.
Thank you. I move on item 232737, a travel request for administrator of intake and referral to attend the weatherization coordinator training put on by DACO to better understand the weatherization process, program planning, budgeting, and weatherization job development in Champaign, Illinois from October 23rd, 23 through October 27th, 23. Expenses to include lodging, miscellaneous expenses, and per diems for the approximate total amount of $880.
Okay, we're gonna need roll call, please.
Schwarzy,
Aye.
Tornatori, you,
Aye.
Zay. Cahill, Chaplin,
Aye.
Childress.
Yes.
Covert, Desart, Eckhoff, Evans, Velasi, Garcia, Justin, Kajewski, Plant, Ozog, and Rutledge.
Thank you, Member Schwarzy, and Judicial and Public Safety, Member Evans.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Last week at the JPS meeting, we had actually the first meeting in which Circuit Court Clerk Candace Adams presented her budget. And in the special call meeting, we had budget presentations from the 18th Judicial Circuit Court, DuPage County Sheriff's Office, DuPage County State's Attorney's Office, and DuPage County Public Defender's Office. So if anybody wants to see those, you can review the video. And with that, I would like to move to approve JPS R006323 intergovernmental housing agreement between DuPage County and Kane County for the housing of prisoners.
It has been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Evans.
Aye.
Galasi. Garcia. Justin. Kajewski. Plant. Ozog. Rutledge. Schwarzy. Tornatori. You.
Aye.
Zay. Cahill. Chaplin. Childress.
Yes.
Covert. Desart.
Aye.
And Eckhoff.
Member Evans.
Thank you. I'd like to move on JPS R006423, recommendation for the approval of a resolution authorizing execution of an agreement
Second
between
most
the
favorable.
County of DuPage via its Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Management and various partner agencies.
Leave is granted. Member Evans.
Thank you. I'd like to move on JPS CO623, recommendation for the approval of an amendment to resolution JPS P0079822 for change order amending the purchase order of 5691 serve issued to Clear Loss Prevention, Inc. to increase the contract in the amount of $18,209, resulting in an amended contract total amount not to exceed $324,148.19.
Leave is granted. Member Evans.
Thank you. I would like to move on 232723. Authorization is requested for this emergency management coordinator to travel to the ILES Training Center in Urbana, Illinois to be a part of the instructor cadre for prompt class. There's no cost to DuPage County.
Leave is granted. Member Evans.
Thank you. And finally, I'd like to move on item 232724. Authorization is requested for this OHSEM volunteer to bring the RapidCom or Rapid Communications Vehicle to the ILES Training Center in Urbana, Illinois. Travel dates are October 5th through 6th, 2023, and the cost to DuPage County is $75 for gas reimbursement.
Leave is granted. Thank you, Member Evans.
Thank you.
Okay, Legislative and Member Desart.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So this afternoon, we have our ad hoc Housing Solutions Committee meeting, which could be a bit lengthy. So we're going to have a legislative committee meeting that is going to be very, very short. Most of us have our relationships with our representatives in Springfield, but having outside lobbyists truly strengthens our power in Springfield. And, you know, I asked Joe McCoy, who is the executive director of ISACO, I said, out of Illinois' 102 counties, how many of those counties are represented by lobbyists? And we're in very elite company. Only 9 counties have lobbyists in the Illinois General Assembly, and only 4 counties have federal lobbyists. So I feel pretty excited about that. And so today, during our super quick, Mr. Zay, super quick meeting, I'm going to ask your favorable consideration of resolutions to renew our state lobbyists. So join me for that. Again, Member Zay, it'll be super fast. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Desart. Okay, Public Works and Member Garcia.
Thanks, Chair Conroy. For my committee update, just wanted to bring to the attention that the DuPage Senior Services Council, which I brought before the board, I talked with staff today, and the paperwork has all been completely filled out. And so I will be bringing that, forth on the next county board for hopefully approval, and then they will be able to hopefully move in to do their Meals on Wheels program in October. So I'm very excited about that. Moving on, I motion for approval of PWCO 000523 amendment to County Contract 6335 SERB issued to Camera Water Solutions, Inc. to furnish and deliver liquid ferric chloride to the Knollwood wastewater treatment facility for Public Works for a change order to increase the contract in the amount of $22,000, taking the original contract amount of $25,900 and resulting in an amended contract amount not to exceed $47,900.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Garcia,
Aye.
Justin, Krajewski, LaPlante, Ozog, Rutledge, Shorzy, Tornatori, you,
Aye.
Zay, Cahill, Chaplin,
Aye.
Childress,
Yes.
Covert, Desart,
Aye.
Eckhoff, Evans, Velocity.
Member Garcia.
The motion for approval to FMP 007723, recommendation for the approval of a contract to Arlington Glass and Mirror Company
Second was
for
for
on-call
roll.
window glazing repair, replacement, window adjustment, and board up services as needed for county facilities for facilities management for the 2-year period of October 1st, 2023 through September 30, 2025, for contract total amount not to exceed $70,000.
Leave is granted. Thank you, Member Garcia. And Stormwater and Member Zay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. For committee updates, I just wanted to apprise the board. We've had last 2 meetings. We've had Mr. Hoffman here speaking about Fayville Dam. Mr. Hoffman was a frequent visitor here in the county from 2008 to about 2010. I don't know what happened, why he's back, but I can give you a little timeline. In September of 2008, the county got anywhere from 6 to 10 inches of rain on that weekend. The county partnered with Warrenville, Naperville, the Forest Preserve, DuPage Department of Transportation, District 200, Illinois Department of Natural Resources, Illinois IPA, and 5 commercial owners. We started a program right there. We, at that point, completed in 2012, a phase 1 project that enhanced the existing berms, that raised the berm on, in Warrenville 3.5 feet, that became FEMA certified. We spent $500,000 on that. In August of 2013, after extensive hearings and other planning, we started a berm control. We did over, I would say, 3-mile stretch of Warrenville Road to McDowell Grove. We did berms. We protected 50 residents. We spent $3.6 million of enhancements of water quality. We also then replaced Warrenville Bridge, which was an obstruction at that point, and raised it. We removed a flood-prone property, which was in the middle of the DuPage River, which now we re-meandered the road. We put multi-use paths. We have spent tens of millions of dollars on this project. And as far as I know, and I don't know why Mr. Hoffman's back, Warrenville, Naperville, and the rest of them are very happy with what has happened down there. This has been a prize. And if you go down in this area in Warrenville, it's back to its natural setting. It almost looks like a area of Wisconsin at this point, with the berms and the overflow and the protection we put in there. So again, Fayville Dam certified by the state. The operations are certified by the state. We run it according to their program. So I don't know why he's here. You will get an email from Director Hun spelling all this out, so you know when he comes to the next meeting. I know people love to come and say stuff, but we do here, and we do take these matters serious. In this fact, we did a lot of work in Warrenville over the years, and it provided a huge amount of flood protection, which, as far as I know, we haven't had any major issues in Warrenville since these projects have been completed. So thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you for the clarification, Member Zay. Strategic Planning and Member Covert.
Thank you, Madam Chair. For strategic planning, DuPage County will host 4 community forums in September for residents to provide feedback as the county works to update its strategic plan. This is going to be an opportunity for the whole county to bring their vision forward for the county, and we welcome their input and their feedback. The 4 forums will be held on September 6th and 7th. There's 2 on September 6th, 12 to 1:30 at West Chicago Public Library, and then 6:30 to 8 p.m. the same day at Elmhurst Public Library. And then September 7th, 12 to 1:30 at Wheaton Public Library, and 6:30 to 8 p.m. same day at Lyle Public Library. So residents who are unable to attend the forums can still provide feedback online at www.barrydunn mysocialpinpoint.com/DuPage County IL.
Thank you, Member Covert. Okay, technology and Member you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move on item TEP 006023, recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order issued to Intellius Inc. for an upgrade to the Windows servers that the Infor Lawson applications run on from Windows 2012 to Windows 2019 for IT for the period of August 22, 2023 through November 30, 2023 for contract total amount not to exceed 72,000.
It has been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
You,
Aye.
Zay. Cahill, Chaplin. Childress. Covert. Desart. Eckhoff. Evans. Galassi. Garcia. Guston. Krajewski. Plant. Ozog. Rutledge. Schwarzy. And Tornatori.
Member you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. For item TEP 006123, I make a motion for recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order issued to Infor Inc. for the purchase of Micro Focus COBOL licensing to
Second
be
most favorable
compatible
roll.
with upgraded Windows Server 2019 for IT for the period of August 22, 2023 through November 30, 2023 for a contract total amount not to exceed $112,709.53.
Leave is granted. Member you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And lastly, I move on TEP 006223, recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order issued to Cara Company for the management of the county GPS core sites to include operating, monitoring, and upgrading of software and firmware for IT GIS division for the period of September 1, 2023 through August 31, 24 for a contract total amount of $39,500.
Leave is granted. Thank you, Member you.
Thank you.
Transportation and Member Ozog.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move for approval of DTR 007823, delegation of authority to the county engineer to approve traffic control devices and signs for county highways.
It has been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Ozog.
Yes.
Rutledge. Schwarzy. Tornatori. You.
Aye.
Zay. Cahill, Chaplin.
Aye.
Childress.
Yes.
Covert. Desart. Eckhoff. Evans.
Aye.
Galassi. Garcia. Guston. Krajewski. And Lippman.
Okay, Member Ozog.
Thank you. I move for approval of DTR 007923, local public agency agreement between the County of DuPage and the State of Illinois Department of Transportation for improvements along County Highway 9 Lamont Road, 83rd Street to 87th Street, and County Highway 31, 87th Street, Haven Drive to Lamont Road. Section, oh, I didn't want to do that. For an estimated total cost construction of $6,900,000, of which up to $5,359,000 is to be funded by the state, resulting in an estimated cost to the county of $1,541.
Leave is granted. Member Ozog.
$4,100,000. Thank you. I only have 4 today. Come on. I move for approval of DTP 009023, recommendation for the approval of a contract to Mohawk Lifts to furnish and deliver one vertical rise heavy-duty vehicle lift for the Division of Transportation for a contract total not to exceed $280,146.20 per Sourcewell contract.
Leave is granted. Member Ozog.
And thank you. I finally move for approval of DTP 009123, recommendation for the approval of a contract to
Second most favorable.
Energy City Corporation doing business as Rack 'em Up Equipment Distributors to install one vertical rise heavy duty vehicle lift for the Division of Transportation for a contract total not to exceed $107,035. Not suitable for competitive bids, sole factory trained and authorized installer.
Okay,
Thank you.
Leave is granted. Thank you, Member Ozog. Okay, is there any discussion on pension obligation? Seeing none. Okay, any old business? No. Any new business? Member Desart.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to say that I really don't think that Chris Snyder should retire, but he and his family didn't really communicate with me about that. So if he is retiring, and I think he is, I just wanted to say that I've worked with Bill Edson on several occasions for several different projects, including community outreach. And I have to say, he is awesome. I'm excited that he's going to be DuPage County's engineer. Good luck with your exam. And I just, when I read Nick Kampmeyer's comments about you getting this position, I was very excited for our county. Thank you so much, Bill. And I'm thrilled about it. Thank you.
Congratulations, Bill. We're thrilled, not by how you're getting here, but that you will be here, Mr. Schneider. Okay, is that it? The only new business? That's it. Okay, so I'm informed we do not have matters before us requiring executive session. I'll take a motion to adjourn. Okay, all in favor? This meeting is adjourned till Tuesday, September 12th, 2023 at 10 a.m.